This chapter talks about transformational leadership, which has become very popular. It has an emphasis on intrinsic motivation and follower development, which works well in times of uncertainty and also works particularly well now with the changing demographics of the workforce. So transformational leadership is a process that changes and transforms individuals. So it's all about changing and transforming. It involves influence. It makes followers want to do more than they usually would. They go above and beyond. Its core elements are concerned with emotions, values, ethics, standards, and long-term goals. And it's an encompassing approach, meaning that there's a wide range of influence where followers and leaders are bound together in the process. Although a transformational leader drives the process, they recognize the importance of followers and see themselves as going through this process hand in hand with followers. So Burns identified some definitions. The first one he talks about is transactional leaders. These are leaders that focus on the exchanges that occur between leaders and followers. So transactional leaders, they believe people are more motivated by reward and punishment. They believe in a clear chain of command. They agree that when people go to a job, that people give managers the authority, and the managers or leaders give them rewards or compensation. Okay. Transformational leaders, on the other hand, are engaging others to create this connection that increases motivation and morality in the leader and follower. So very important to this definition is morality. If we think about some leaders could be considered, pretty transformational, but maybe their morals are in question. So another category was developed, pseudo-transformational. This is where the leader's own interests come to the forefront rather than the interest of the followers. So if you have a leader that is in it for their own self-advancement, they care more about building their own agenda than really listening to other people, that would fall in this category where ethical standards are being compromised. So when we talk about transformational leadership, we kind of think of charisma. And charisma is a term that means sort of a person that has these special qualities or exceptional power. I mean, the pure definition says it's a person who's superhuman or very special. Comes from meaning from the gods. Excuse me. So charisma has to do with somebody that's very different. And if you think about it, I'm sure you can think of charismatic leaders that you have either seen or been in contact with. So Howe says that charismatic leaders act in unique ways and have special charismatic effects on followers. And if we look at how personality and behavior affects the followers, we have a charismatic leader, they're dominant, they want to influence, they're self-confident and have strong moral values, and they're behaving in a way that they're a role model, they show competence and confidence, then the followers are going to trust in the leader and believe that they're similar to the leader, and they have sort of unquestioning acceptance, but they like the leader. Okay, they identify with the leader. So charismatic leadership transforms the follower's self-concepts and tries to link identity of the followers to the identity of the entire organization. So it's no longer about individuals, it's about the whole, the collective. Okay, so it does this by emphasizing intrinsic rewards and de-emphasizing extrinsic. Okay, so leaders have high expectations, okay, and they help followers become self-confident and have self-efficacy. Okay. Excuse me. So Bass expanded on these original theories, okay, and refined some of the work done by Burns and by House. So Bass has more attention being paid to the followers rather than the leader's needs, and suggested that it could apply to outcomes that were not positive. Okay, and if we think about some charismatic leaders, we can think of outcomes that weren't positive of things that they had carried out. It describes transactional and transformation leadership as a continuum that we'll see in a minute. Okay, so here's the continuum. We have transformational leadership, and in the middle, transactional, and then at the very end, we have laissez-faire leadership. So 7 factors have been identified, okay, having to do with the continuum. And this is a little chart that was in your book I thought was pretty good, kind of showing visually where these things fall. Okay. So transformational leadership has 4 factors. We call them the 4 I's. We have idealized influence. Also, this is where charisma kind of comes in. It's the emotional component. So it's where leaders are acting as strong role models. They have high standards of ethics and morals. They make others want to follow the vision. Okay, they have inspirational motivation. They communicate high expectations. They inspire followers to engage in this shared vision. They use symbols and emotional appeals to focus group members to achieve more than self-interest. So it's for the good of the group, not the individual. Okay, intellectual stimulation has to do with stimulating followers to be creative and innovative. Okay, and this challenges the beliefs and values of the leader and the organization and causes people to feel free, to try new things and take a risk and be innovative. Okay, then we have individualized consideration where the leader listens to the needs of the followers and coaches each follower and helps each follower become fully actualized or all they can be and helps them grow, gives them personal challenges and coaches them along the way. Transactional leaders are concerned with rewards. Remember, this is the exchange process between leaders and followers. So one thing they use is called management by exception, and this is where leaders believe that they need to be somewhat negative. They have to give some negative feedback or corrective criticism or negative reinforcement. Okay. The laissez-faire factor, this is the absence of leadership. This is a leader that's very hands-off, just lets things go. Delays decision, gives no feedback, doesn't help people. They're just kind of there, okay? Not really doing a whole lot to hurt things or help things. So a couple more researchers came up with some different structures. These 2 researchers came up with 4 strategies. And you can see where these all kind of have things in common. If we kind of put them all together, I think we could kind of have a summary. So they have to, and this researcher said we had to have a clear vision of the organization's future. The transformational leader is a social architect. We have to create trust. Okay. This model also it's very similar. It says that leaders have to be role models. They have to have a shared vision. They have to challenge things. Here's the innovation comes in. They have to enable others to act. I thought encourage the heart was interesting. Okay, that's kind of the human factor of the whole thing coming in. So transformational leadership overall describes how leaders can initiate, develop, and carry out significant changes. So it's all about change in the organization. It's about empowering the followers. and leading them toward change. Okay, they have to create a vision because followers need something to work toward. So the leader creates a vision. Okay, they have to build trust and collaboration. So a lot of strengths with this approach. It's been researched a lot. I think the book said 34% of research is on transformational leadership, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's pretty high. It has a lot of intuitive appeal. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. I mean, we want to follow strong leaders like this, and leaders who are moral and committed and want to develop followers. We're attracted to leaders like that. Okay, it's process focused. It treats this as a process. It expands leadership. It does emphasize the follower, in fact, even more sort of than the leader, because it's based on the follower's needs and values and morals. And evidence says it's an effective form of leadership, but it does lack some conceptual clarity in that the dimensions aren't clearly delimited. They kind of overlap when you look at it. The measurement isn't, there's some validity issues. And if you look in your book, there's a copy of the MLQ. You can kind of look through that. Okay, so that's not real fully established. This also tends to treat leadership more as a personality trait than a behavior. And as we know from trait leadership, it's hard to teach people. Those are things we think people kind of come with. Okay, no causal link between transformational leaders and changes. It does appear to be elitist and anti-democratic. Okay, it can be abused. We talked about that. So to apply it, it provides a general way of thinking about leadership, and it stresses ideals, inspiration, innovation, and concern. We can teach this to individuals at all levels, and it's been shown to be able to impact performance in an organization. We could also use it in recruitment, selection, and promotion. Okay, and we can train people in this. We can use it to improve teams and quality initiatives and that sort of thing. So that's the end of transformational leadership. I think this is a very interesting topic. I hope you found some things here that you thought were interesting as well. Thank you.